What's going on, guys? Oh, you're seeing double of me right now. We're just going to be doing a bit of a preview show before Mr. Marceau ends up rolling on in here. You're seeing you're seeing two of me at the moment. Let me turn that off just for just a moment. Mr. Marceau had to take a work call, as opposed to keep on playing the pre-show there for another 5-10 minutes. I'm not sure when Mr. Marceau will be back. I'll wait for him to come back, and then we'll get on with the show. We'll do the intro. I know this isn't the usual intro that we do, but as opposed to keeping you guys on hold here, I figured I would come pop in and say hello and read the chat before we get going. Johnny said, your favorite women's wrestler, Ty Mello, returned last night. I only caught the Dynamite portion of Collision, so I actually haven't seen that. But she's been gone for a long time. She was pregnant. I know she was off TV for quite some time. So, nice to see her back, though. It's pretty cool. Ty Mello has returned. He also said, better last AEW match, Cody versus Sammy ladder match, that being Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, or Mariah May versus Toni Storm Hollywood ending match. That's interesting. I would probably say Mariah and Toni, just because they had arguably the best women's match in company history, and there's been a lot of great ones. But that might have just topped the list, if only because they had such a great feud and everything else. The Cody-Sammy match was great. They had a lot of on and off history dating back to late 2019. They had the first ever Dynamite match. They feuded in their respective factions with the Elite and the Inner Circle. In early 2020, they had some matches in 2021. But I would still probably say Mariah May versus Toni Storm, Hollywood ending match. That was an amazing match. The only thing that kind of took away from it from me was the fact that, The only thing that took away from it from me was the fact that it didn't main event. And I think we now know why it didn't main event. It didn't main event because Toni Storm is now gone from, or rather Mariah May is now gone from AEW. I think that was kind of like the leading suspicion anyway. But, yeah, I would probably say Mariah May and Toni Storm was the better matchup of the two. Better last AEW match, anyway. Hollywood ending. Fernando also joining us, saying Buenos Dias WrestleRant. Thank you, Fernando, for joining us. Hope you're doing well. How do you say good morning? I know you say Buenos Dias is saying good day, but how do you say, is it hasta mañana? Isn't that good day in Spanish? I took 7 years of Spanish, and I can barely remember any of it. It's been so long. Maria said, hello, wrestling fans. Maria, what's going on? Thanks for joining, as always. Great to see you in the chat. Noob said, good morning, Graham and RJ. How are you doing today? We are doing well. When Mr. Marceau returns, we will get going here, but I figured as opposed to, like I said a moment ago, as opposed to continuing to play the pre-show, I would switch it up a little bit, talk to you guys before we get going here. But I am doing well. Thanks for asking, Millennial Noob. Fernando said it was an excellent week of wrestling so far, and it's only Thursday. It really has been. I enjoyed Raw for what it was on Monday. Tuesday, NXT was a good show. Mariah May obviously debuting. We're going to get into that. We had Dynamite and Collision last night, as I mentioned a moment ago. I only have so far seen the Dynamite portion of Fyter Fest. I have not gone back and watched the Collision portion. I didn't really feel like it was probably all that eventful anyway. So, I mean, not that I won't go back and watch it. I obviously watch it all and review it all, but I just haven't had a chance yet. The show ended at fucking midnight, and I was still catching up on Dynamite at that point and preparing for the show today, among other stuff. So, I haven't caught Collision yet, but I will probably try to watch it because here's my plan. And also, we have SmackDown tomorrow. There's a TNA Against All Odds event on Friday night, which should be fun. We also have on Saturday, obviously, Money in the Bank, Worlds Collide. There's an MLW show on Saturday. A lot of great wrestling this week. Almost too much wrestling. There's always too much wrestling. But my current plan is to watch Money in the Bank, because I'm going to be at Disney World, actually. I'm going to be at Disney World on Saturday. I've mentioned that before. We're going to be at Hollywood Studios specifically for the last day of the Muppets ride, and that should be a lot of fun. So that being said, I don't know if I'll be watching the show at the park. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. We'll probably be on rides at that point, waiting in line. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. But, I'll try to watch it at some point on Saturday. Worlds Collide, same thing. I'll probably have to catch up when I'm waiting for the airport, waiting to go to the airport on Sunday, Alexis and I. That's probably what we're going to be doing. So keep an eye out for that. And, we'll probably do that, and I still have to catch up on Collision. But Mr. Marceau has returned. Just give me one moment, and we'll get back to the regularly scheduled show. Keep posted, guys. We'll be right back. Good, pal. How was the phone call?
Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
What's going on, guys? Officially, the June 5th, 2025 edition of WrestleRant Radio. First episode here in the month of June. A lot to get into here today. Of course, being joined by the one, the only, the illustrious, wearing his all-new EO Sky merchandise, Mr. Marceau. Brother, what's going on? I am doing well, but I have a very important question to ask you to kick off the show here today, Mr. Marceau. Have you eaten breakfast yesterday? Or today, I'm sorry. Have you eaten breakfast yet? Okay. I have not. And I brought it with me, actually, here on the show to have. It's a hat. All right? I brought the hat with me to have. Okay, my bad. Forgot to unmute Mr. Marceau. He said he was doing well. I always forget to do this. Botching to start the show. I apologize. He was muted. That was my fault. It's always my fault. First of all, it's always my fault. Second of all, he's here. But I asked him what he had for breakfast. He said he already had breakfast today. I have not had breakfast. I brought my breakfast here. It is the NXT hat because she is in NXT, is Miss Mariah May. Now, let me bring it back here. I did not do my homework enough to pop up the clip. I should definitely do that in the future, all right? I'll bring up the clip. I almost brought up the clip from Happy Gilmore where Happy says to Chubbs, I was wrong, you were right. I'm stupid, you're smart. I'm unattractive, you're really attractive. I love that clip. I almost popped that up here, but you wouldn't be able to hear it. But I just figured I would quote it instead. Mr. Marceau, once again, I don't know how the fuck he does it, what inside sources he has. This man was right. Mariah May is indeed all WWE. Not all elite, she is all WWE. How does it feel, Mr. Marceau, to be right once again about something?
Feels great, honestly. It's one of the better feelings. Someone saying you're funny, you're right, or you have a good tan. I think those are my top 3 compliments. It was great. I mean, it's just so easy just being right. I don't know. It just felt great seeing you on Sunday for the birthday. I know the big 3-0 now. You must have woke up with some elbow back pain. I don't know what happens once you get the age, but no, seeing on Sunday was even better because I just was waiting for this moment, and it was as good as I expected it to be.
I mean, it happened initially. She went to NXT on Tuesday, but it was announced on Friday that she was leaving AEW. So we kind of had that window in between Friday and Tuesday where I saw you on Sunday for the party, like you said, that you were graciously able to attend. And we were kind of able to rub it in my face at that point that Mariah May is all WWE. Honestly, at this point, it just comes naturally for you to be right. So I can't really say. I'm sure it does feel good, but it happens so often that I don't really think it must be all that out of the ordinary for you to be right about something. So to be perfectly honest, I'm sure you're just, it's less about you being right and probably more about me being wrong.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. But we're going to get into that here today. I appreciate everyone joining live. Thank you for joining live. Shout out to Johnny Nathaniel Sudo is here, saying Mr. Marceau is not audible, but he is audible now. Hope you guys are doing well. If there's any audio issues, be sure to let me know. And be sure to peep Mr. Marceau's EO Sky shirt, like I said before, because it's a nice new Fanatics grab. And that's not a plug for Fanatics, but it's a pretty cool fucking t-shirt, so be sure to check it out. But new episodes of WrestleRant Radio every single Thursday on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, and all the major podcast platforms. Channel members, shout out to you guys, Alexis Miss Mon Matthews, Dylan Giacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Daniel Malcolm, I'm Quarter on X. Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on the Twitter machine. John Ritland on YouTube. Real Honesty with John Ritland. Richie, Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube. And finally, last but not least, Average Grunt at the Average Grunt on X. So shout out to you guys. You can sign up for WrestleRant All Access Pass, $5 a month. Check it out. Top billing, hashtag Ask GSM here on WrestleRant Radio. You get little emojis and badges in the live chat for all of our live streams, early and ad-free access to certain videos, and so much more. But at the very least, just be sure to like this video if you're watching live right now or after the fact. Subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking that little bell button. You'll be notified every single time you go live here on the channel and every single time new content gets uploaded. I'm actually headed out for Orlando Disney World. Mr. Marceau was there just a month ago. I'm following in his footsteps. I'm going now, and I figure, hey, listen, perfect time to get a show out of the way. I'll be back by Sunday, so we're not really missing much, but I had to kick off or end the week before I head on out to Disney by chatting with Mr. Marceau about all things WWE, Money in the Bank, Worlds Collide predictions, R-Truth, which feels like it happened a month ago at this point. No longer with WWE. I already gave my thoughts on it in a stream right before the party, actually, on Sunday. I'll gauge Mr. Marceau's thoughts as we get going here. Do you want to just read the chat real quickly? Just give me one sec. Nathaniel said, how's it going? I'm almost all in. I'm excited. Yeah, it's coming up in about a month. I'm looking forward to the show. I had a picture of me because I had Mr. Marceau's, not his camera still on, but I had my camera on, so they were showing two of me. That's why Johnny said, I didn't know you had a twin brother. Nathaniel said, I hope Adam Copeland doesn't miss All In. I would be disappointed. I don't know. He might still miss the show. You also said, my Money in the Bank prediction is Becky beating Lyra. We'll see if we agree with that. We'll get into our Money in the Bank predictions here in a couple minutes. And do you think Solo wins Money in the Bank? We'll get into that when we give our predictions for the show. Johnny said, would you put Monet versus Tony in the main event over Moxley Hangman? Depending on who wins each match. If Moxley beats Hangman, then absolutely not. I would probably put that below Monet and Tony. But then we can end up with a scenario where Monet wins both belts and Moxley wins his match, and I'd be pretty fucking upset, to be honest with you. I feel like those are the wrong outcomes to both matches. Limp Bizkit's My Way and Roland should be playing during next year's Anarchy in the Arena. That would be awesome. Do you want Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher and Thekla versus Jamie Hayter? Or Tekla? I think her name is Tekla, not Thekla. Tekla versus Jamie Hayter at All In. I think both matches would be good. Let's see. Matthew Rodriguez, thank you for joining, also said, what if WWE calls Mariah Storm? Well, they already have a few different Storms, so probably not. Will you love to see a mixed tag team match of Mariah and Logan Paul to make heat? I mean, honestly, not a terrible idea. We'll get into that. And do you think Mariah May will win a Rumble in WWE? Very possible. I'm not going to say she definitely will, but it's not completely out of the ordinary. Johnny said, Will versus Swerve 2 should not be on Dynamite. I'm okay with that. I think it should be a great match. And actually, great first question before we get going into the Mariah May stuff, Mr. Marceau. Nathaniel asking, which I know this is relevant to you as well, did you see the Stranger Things 5 trailer drop? I'm excited, he said. It dropped actually on Saturday. Yeah, we forgot to. I didn't talk to you about it when I saw you on Sunday, but you said you saw it. What were your initial thoughts?
I just can't come soon enough. I hate the trailers. It's like, hey, it's coming in 5 months. Get ready. I hope you're excited. It's like last night we watched the new Wicked trailer, and it looks amazing. But it's like, oh, you like that? Yeah, wait another 5 months till November when it comes out. So I thought both trailers. I'll just throw Wicked out there where it looks good too. But I mean, I'm assuming the Stranger Things are gonna be like the last season. Like each episode will probably be like a movie, pretty much a mini movie, like an hour and a half. But I think it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, or Christmas and New Year's Eve. I think they come out. Hey, so get ready to binge, people.
All these holidays.
Hey, screw your family parties. Screw Santa coming. You got to be glued to Netflix watching Stranger Things.
Yeah, these are not 30-minute episodes. I don't think any episode is 30 minutes, but definitely they're all going to be at least 60 minutes each, 90 minutes, probably closer to 2 hours. I believe the drop schedule is, you mentioned the days. I think it's 4 episodes on Thanksgiving Eve, like you said, then 3 episodes, and then the last episode, which you know is going to be like a fucking 3-hour movie, so I can't really say I'm too surprised by that. But the biggest difference between the Wicked trailer and the Stranger Things trailer was that the Wicked one showed a lot more, like that you could hear some of the music, a lot new scenes. Like the Stranger Things trailer was well done, but 90% of it was a recap of the first 4 seasons and very few scenes, which I don't know when they filmed that. Like the Wicked one, I think is done. I assume Stranger Things is done too. It comes out in a couple months, but it was completely new footage. Was the Wicked one? The Stranger Things one was just a rehash, so it didn't really give you an idea of
They
what
did
it's
show
going to
a
be
little
about.
bit. They showed
a little bit.
Teensy bit. But no, I'm pretty sure the whole Wick. I'm pretty sure they filmed both movies already. Like after the first one was filmed, I think they filmed both at the same time. And
Yes,
then
they did.
just
Yeah,
waited
exactly.
a year to break it up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that trailer was very good. Alexis loved it. Lindsay in the chat saying "Wicked for good." I'm in puddles already. Yeah, I know you guys are big fans of the movie. It looked really good as somebody she had showed it to me on like her third viewing of it. I enjoyed the movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't know if I'll be seated day one. I might be there day two. But the trailer did look very good. I'll give you that much. Much better than the Stranger Things trailer with what's that kid's name screaming "No" at the very end of it. Yeah, I didn't love that. He's not the most dynamic character on the show. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Johnny also asked about the Gen V Season 2 trailer. That trailer was fucking awesome. That's from that Boys show on Amazon Prime. Really, really good show. If you haven't seen that, definitely go out of your way to check it out. Lindsay, I know Nick probably would have seen it, so you're going to have to ask him. But, yes, I love the Gen Z Season 2 trailer as well. And then Fernando also asked, why does Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez, Ethan Page get to keep their names, but others get name changes? I think it's all up to the performer. I honestly don't really know what the rhyme or reason is behind certain name changes and certain people keeping their name. I'm not exactly sure, but I know.
Also, Roxanne didn't change. They changed her name. Her name wasn't Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, correct. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Jordan Grace is the same name. Roxanne Perez, they gave her a new name. Her name was Roxy. Before coming to WWE. And Ethan Page, I think he signed a deal where he can keep the name of WWE, but he kind of gives all rights and merchandise money to WWE. It was something along those lines, where if he were to leave the company, then he gets to keep the name. The other ones, I don't know if they even wanted to do that. Maybe they were okay changing it. Like LA Knight is not Eli Drake, so I mean, there's a lot of instances of that. But honestly, I'm not really sure. It hasn't really. They've been doing that with Jeff Cobb and now Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, and now probably Mariah May, or better yet, Jennifer June or Farrah February. What's the best name that we can come up with for Mariah May, Mr. Marceau?
I like Jennifer June, if you want me to be honest with you.
I think Jennifer June's a pretty solid name. If they want to keep with the, name of a month, something August, I don't know. August, I'm trying to think. Angelina August or something fucking stupid like that. I think Jennifer June is probably the best one because it's June, May, one syllable words. I like that. Yeah, Lindsay said it was lame, this Stranger Things trailer. It was fine. They gave a little bit, like Mr. Marceau said, but
like you said, they gave you enough to want you to. They can't give it. I think is I don't want them to give you everything because
yeah,
you know how many times you see like a comedy movie and they show you the trailer and all the funny parts are in the trailer.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah, I just want a little bit, and I think they did well there.
Okay, all right. I am looking forward to it regardless. Julie January, Millennial Noob said, I think we could do better than that, but Julie January isn't awful. That's a decent.
You got to go with the shorter months, like I said, April, May, June, July. Once you start going to August, September, I mean that's just a mouthful at that point.
Yeah, Dina December, something stupid like that. The glamorous Miss May, I like that. I feel like if the two names though, they would keep Mariah. I think they like Mariah, like Ricky Saints. They let her keep. Or they let him keep Ricky, and then he was Ricky Saints as opposed to Ricky Starks. I actually like that name. Miss May, I don't mind either. But would they just call her Miss, or would Glamorous be part of the name like Seth freaking Rollins? I'm not really sure. No, Johnny, I have not seen the trailer for Marvel Token Fighting Souls. I'm not even really sure what that is. I don't know if that's a video game, but I have not seen that. Pseudo mentioned, hope JC isn't treated like a transitional champion, but she probably is most definitely going to be. Sorry to break it to you, Pseudo, but she will absolutely be a transitional champion.
They already have Mariah May's side titles, or like the side things on the belt already made.
Yeah, I think they're already on the belt.
JC Jane is clearly a transitional. Once Mariah May debuted, and now it makes sense because it's like she'll easily beat JC Jane, and then we'll move on.
I think it was evident that she'd be a transitional champion from the moment that the referee's hand counted 3 last Tuesday when JC Jane became champion. It was pretty, even if it was the friggin' Jada Parker or anyone else in that division, it was pretty obvious that she was not holding that championship for long. Captain Nemo TV series looks pretty good. I have not seen that. I don't know what that is. I know there's a movie called Captain Nemo, an animated movie. I think I've seen that, but the TV series, I'm not sure I'm aware of what you're talking about, Fernando. Melissa May, Stephanie September. Yeah, pretty solid names, and those are fine. I like Melissa May. She doesn't look like a Melissa though. She looks like a Mariah. So I would keep the Mariah and then go with something else. Oh, it's a fighting video game. Okay, that's I was not sure. But let's talk about Mariah May. She has officially left AEW. That was kind of actually going to be my top story here. And that's when I texted Mr. Marceau, getting ready to eat my hat on Tuesday. That's what I said. I'll give you props publicly on the show on Tuesday. But it came out from PW Insider on Friday among all the other outlets. Mariah May was taken off of the AEW roster page. And that led people to believe, okay, she's probably gone from AEW, but maybe not completely. Like sometimes they take people off the roster page, but they're not yet gone from the company. Like maybe her contract will expire in August. Maybe it'll expire in July. Apparently it expired on June 1st because she was there on fucking June 3rd on Tuesday on NXT television. So a lot to break down here, Mr. Marceau. But again, like I said, I cannot emphasize enough. You were right. You saw this coming a few months ago. Mariah May is now in WWE. What's your immediate reaction?
I was right. You were wrong. I'm good looking. You're not. But no, I mean, once they said Jacy Jayne was, like you said, she was like addressing the crowd of the NXT women's division, you knew something was going to happen. I was on Twitter. Luckily, it literally was like a minute after I clicked on Twitter, I had the video already up. So I saw it. But no, I mean, I think I'm a little surprised she went to NXT, but they did move a lot of people just from NXT to the main roster. So I think just going NXT first, getting your feet wet, kind of getting the whole WWE production style and all that stuff. I think that is important to kind of get there. In the ring wise, she's main roster ready already. So I don't expect a long tenure down in NXT, but I think getting there, becoming champion, getting her feet wet, it's fine. They just moved Stephanie, seemingly Jordan as well. So she's clearly the top dog in NXT. Beat Jacy Jayne. Sorry, not sorry. And then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the most important part right there as well a moment ago, that I think there's some discrepancy here from people that don't watch the product, that she is main roster ready. There is no argument about that. But from a lot of people who solely watch AEW or just don't watch WWE, I've seen a lot of comments about how, why would they send her to developmental? Why did she go from winning the title at Wembley Stadium, which, by the way, was one show last year. They did 60,000. They don't do a tenth of that usually on the regular for their Dynamite shows and their Collision shows, just to kind of get that out of the way. But I saw a lot of that on Twitter on Tuesday and on Wednesday, respectively. Oh, you know, how could she go from wrestling at Wembley Stadium to wrestling in a fucking warehouse? They've lost the plot with Mariah May. This makes no sense. I saw a lot of that, way more than I should have on Tuesday and Wednesday, like I said. But these people don't watch the show. They just called up a whole bunch of people to Raw and SmackDown. They just called up Julia. They called up Roxanne. They called up Stephanie on Monday. She won a Money in the Bank qualifier. Now, Jordan Grace is not yet on the main roster, but reportedly she's headed there. We talked about that last week. I'm not really sure why anyone would think that her moving to the main roster right now would be the right decision. She would immediately, in my opinion, get lost in the shuffle. Mariah May is great, but these are the same people that would complain, oh, why is she on Raw right now, getting lost in the shuffle, losing to friggin' Beef? No, she wouldn't be losing to BFAB, but, you know, she would be on the show with really nothing to do. They would do the video package for her, not show her for 2 weeks. That's what would happen if she was called up right now. Put her in NXT first. Ricky Saints, they did the same thing. I'm not really sure why Ricky's getting the call up to the main roster before Ethan Page. That seems strange to me, but that's a different conversation. I think this is the right call. I mean, how long do you think tops she ends up in NXT? Because the report is that she's getting paid main roster money already, and usually those people, like Stephanie and like Ricky, maybe not Stephanie, but definitely Ricky among other people, Jordan Grace, were already getting paid main roster money to a certain degree. Is she there for 6 months? Is a year too long? And does she win the NXT Women's Championship first? I think you already said yes, though.
Yeah, I think, what's it, June? Wins the NXT title. I think you keep her down there until Rumble. She comes up in the Rumble, makes her main roster debut in the Rumble. Then you'd kind of transition her like we did with Roxanne. Actually transition her, though. Not like she's in the Elimination Chamber, then we don't see her for 3 months, then she comes back. But, yeah, I think 6 months is good enough for me.
Yeah, I think 6 months is right about, around the time that she should end up on the main roster. Obviously, the landscape will change between now and then, but is there a certain storyline feud that stands out to you as making the most sense to do with her when she gets called up? Because I had seen some people say you can have her involved with the Liv Dom thing, and she starts, flirting with Dom and getting Liv jealous, or working with
Roxanne's
Tiffany.
Already in that role, buddy.
Yeah, Roxanne's already in that role. But that's what people have said. I'm just thinking, okay, let's have Dom cool down the Riz factor. He doesn't need to be flirting with every female on the women's roster. But you also have Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown, who's I don't want to say a carbon copy of Mariah May. They're very similar. Tiffany had been around on a bigger stage even before Mariah May in AEW, but, two very different personalities, but I can see the similarities there. You could do something with those two, Mariah May being a heel, Tiffany being a babyface, currently on SmackDown as the champion. Probably not by that point, but any feuds that stand out as making the most sense for her right out of the gate in WWE?
I think her losing to Charlotte at WrestleMania 42 probably makes the most sense to me right now. I'm just kidding, everyone. Just kidding. Got to get the pop out there. No, I mean, I think her and Tiffany is kind of seems like the match made in heaven. That just seems like a go-to feud. They are similar, but are different in their own ways. I mean, any other women doesn't really pop out like must-need, but I think any of the main women makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think any of the main women would make the most sense. Charlotte Flair. Honestly, you joke about that, but I could see that being a legit possibility where she loses to her at WrestleMania 42. Let's just prepare for that possibility right now. We did with Tiffany.
Clip it now.
Yeah, just start getting the tissues out now and start getting the, rants out now, because it could end up in a situation where she ends up beating Charlotte, as Tiffany did. But is Charlotte really going to lose 2 years in a row at WrestleMania? In the past, she is not. So I wouldn't be too optimistic about that. But at the same time, we'll see. I think she'll definitely be main roster bound soon enough. She is very good. My biggest holdup when we talked about this a couple of months ago, right after Revolution, was the fact that, and if you go back and listen to the clip, I maintain this, was that WWE is a much bigger pool. It's a much bigger pool anyway. But at the same time, though, with WWE, there's just so many women there as it stands right now. And this was at a time when we were talking about this, none of the women that were in NXT were in, they weren't on the main roster at that point. Now they're all on Raw and SmackDown. But I kind of figured Mariah May, why would you go to a bigger pool where she can get lost in the shuffle a bit more, whereas she can stay in AEW for a little bit longer, probably make great money, use WWE as a negotiating tactic, but then go to WWE when her contract expires the next time. And I guess I've since realized, and if she stayed in AEW, I feel like that would have made the most sense. That's still where I kind of feel like it's too soon to say whether she made the right call. But why were you thinking at the time that Mariah May belonged in WWE? Was it the fact that she already accomplished all that she could in AEW, or is WWE just the right fit for her, which it is, but the right fit for her right now?
I just feel like she kind of already hit her peak in AEW. She won the Owen tournament. She won the Women's Championship. She won in Wembley. She's from London or England area. So, I mean, at that point, you did those two big things. I mean, what else is there when the TBS? I mean, Mercedes ain't turning her over, so it's not like she's going to win that belt anytime soon. So, the fabulous Monet ain't losing. So, I mean, if she already won the main title, she won the Owen. She won the big show in her hometown. What else is there really for her left to do? I mean, I think her story with Tony was the pinnacle, and from there, it's what else do you do with her? So, I mean, I think it's always been known that she's been a big fan of WWE. I mean, we've seen the tweets and the posts, and she's always been a big WWE fan. So I think just using AEW to prop her up to that point, I mean, like you said, it is kind of like big fish, small pond. We'll see what happens when she's in with a lot of very talented women. But I think she'll fit well. I mean, Q3 cut should be coming soon, so the women's roster should go down a little bit. But I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll get to those departures. They had to part ways with a few people to kind of make way for Mariah May and NXT. That contract ain't cheap. They had to let go of a few people to make Mariah May
try to let
money.
people know. I said, how do you think you're going to pay for Mariah May? See you later, R-Truth. See you later, Carlito.
See you later, Sarah Logan. She was another one gone this week as well. Yeah, listen, I mean, I think her run in AEW, it is pretty amazing. I said this at the time, and I said this on Twitter the other day. And I said at the time, I mean, a couple months ago when we discussed this originally. She had the perfect run in AEW. I mean, from the moment she debuted, she was in a storyline with the then AEW Women's Champion, who ended up becoming the Women's Champion soon after. But she was involved with Toni Storm from the very beginning, and they had a clear storyline where she would be her stalker, admirer, biggest fan, whatever, only to turn on her, which was always inevitable, one way or the other, whether it was Toni turning on Mariah or vice versa. It was Mariah turning on Toni ultimately, then beating her for the championship in her home country of England, holding it for 6-7 months, however long it was, and it wasn't the most amazing run of all time. She wasn't really featured like a a top attraction on that show. She wasn't really headlining shows for the most part. She was having good matches, but there wasn't any really focus on her run. But for the most part, she had great matches, great character development, perfect mic skills, shitting on the division, lost the belt to Tony, had a rematch, the rubber match at Revolution that I mentioned, the Hollywood ending match, that literally was the ending of her run. And that was it. Like, I had seen some people say, oh, it's great to see her in WWE because AEW didn't know what to do with her. Brother, I mean, that's not the case at all. I mean, I'm pooping on AEW here when I'm saying, like, she belongs in WWE ultimately. But that's just not true, though. Like, the reason why she wasn't on the show was because she had already given her notice that she wasn't re-signing. If she re-signed with the company or indicated that she was sticking around, they would have had her on the show. Like, it's not a Wardlow situation.
But when you use her, like, she's been over, she was a champion, like, when you use her to, like, prop people up like Megan Bain or, like, someone else that you're pushing to get, like, ahead a little bit, like, she was champion, you clearly liked her, she won. Like,
True.
I think that's where people, like, kind of go after Tony, which I completely agree. His thoughts, like, oh, you're not renewing? Yep, I'm just going to put you away, we're not going to see you, whatever. It's, like, same with, like, the Lucha Brothers and stuff like that. It's, like, these people are established stars, so if you're trying to build up new people, why wouldn't you use them to then put them over?
That's a good point, and I'm okay with that. I like, personally, and this does not happen often, it's kind of like the Ricochet thing, where when he left WWE, they knew he wasn't resigning. They probably thought that he can get him back, which they didn't. But they used him on his way out to put over Braun Breaker. So he lost to Braun Breaker, got destroyed by Breaker in the parking lot, and he was kind of written off. That doesn't happen often. Usually when people get released or they don't get renewed, like R-Truth, I mean, they put over people on the way out, but, like, you don't know that.
Match John over.
Yeah, but then he also put over JC Mateo, which he should have. But, like, he didn't feel like the end. Because wrestling is a television show at the end of the day. It's a movie type thing. We call it cinematic or whatever, cinema. But a lot of the times, characters don't have actual endings in these companies. They don't have actual endings for their arcs on these television shows. It's a small nitpick thing, but I thought it was actually perfect that her last match was actually the Hollywood ending match. Yeah, they could have used her to put over, like, Megan Bain, like you said, or Mercedes, that match they never did before she left. I agree with that. I mean, Mercedes wouldn't have benefited. She's already the fucking TBS champion, but I understand what you're saying. It just doesn't bother me because she went out on such a high note that just to bring her back to put over other people, and that was only 2-3 months ago. It's not like the Ricky Starks thing was egregious. Like, his contract expired in February. Or his contract didn't even expire. They let him go. They willingly gave him his release. He was off the show for a fucking year. I mean, that's just stupid to me. Like, Vince McMahon at one point would do the same thing where, like, oh, you're not going to resign next year? We're just not going to put you on the show. Like, that's dumb to me. But Mariah May was on her way out. She had a couple months left. I was okay with that. But like I said, she had the perfect run in AEW. She was immediately featured on the show, focused on the show, became champion, lost the title off the show in WWE now. The same thing kind of happened. She kind of followed in the footsteps a little bit to a certain degree of Jade Cargill, who also came in as a big deal, immediately won the TBS championship about within a year, but, that first year she was undefeated. Went undefeated almost the entire time that she was in AEW, lost the title. She was off the show for a few months. They knew she wasn't re-signing, so they actually brought her back for a week or two, put over Chris Statlander again, and then she was gone and signed with WWE within days. And they put it on their website that she signed with WWE. We actually broke the news here on the show at that point a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Do you think Tony Khan, maybe not with the women specifically, do you think he'll be hesitant to push certain people going forward, knowing that they're going to be using AEW as a negotiating tactic? You're nodding your head yes aggressively. Tell me why you think that is.
I mean, it's happened to him twice now. He's been burned twice. I mean, I think with the whole Jade Cargill thing, like, maybe, I mean, the problem is, I think with the people that haven't been in WWE, specifically both of them, like, his thought was like, I can offer them more money, but at the end of the day, you can't offer, like, that. Money's great, but, like, they're going there for a specific reason. Like, you can't offer them that specific reason, so they're going to leave regardless of the money. Like, they might not be making as much money as you're offering them, but they're still going to be, one, making good money, and two, they're offering them a bigger platform, which you currently don't have. I think, like you said, I think it will make him hesitant, especially if someone's contract might be coming up to, like, maybe hopefully re-sign them to then push them, because it's happened twice now. I think you would have, I mean, unless you're an idiot, you would have to be hesitant to push someone that's on, like, a contract that could be expiring soon.
I mean, there's been several people that are now in WWE. I mean, even CM Punk, that thing kind of played out a bit differently, but CM Punk was their world champion twice. He was a featured, focused part of the show, and they had to fire him just due to what happened a few years ago at All In, Brawl Out, whatever the fuck. But at the same time, I mean, he ended up going back to WWE, and now he's one of the biggest stars in the company. I mean, this isn't just a female, I don't want to say issue, but it's happened specifically with two of their top original stars on AEW television. Jade Cargill, a former TBS champion, Mariah May, a former AEW women's champion. I mean, do you then not take chances on people? I agree with what you're saying. Do you think that he, should not take the chances, or you just feel like he won't?
I think you should, but you also need to, like I said, you need to also protect yourself. The problem, it's tough because it's like at the end of the day, it's like when you're number 2, yes, you can prop someone up, but if you prop them up enough, they can then be like, oh, I'm big enough to then try to go to number 1. I mean, that's kind of like the one thing with using like ex-WWE people is like they've already been there. So, I mean, not that there's no chance of going back, but like if you prop them up and make them champion, maybe they're less likely to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But with like someone younger, like Jade, like Mariah May, I think it's if they haven't been there before, I think they like, oh, I want to be on the big stage, and like obviously it might not work out, but like you still like want the chance to work for the biggest company if there's a chance.
I also think there's something to be said, too, because I had seen someone say, Jon Moxley's the only loyal one left in AEW. He showed up. He's not going anywhere. I would probably put Swerve in that conversation, too. I'm not sure Swerve's ever going anywhere. He could have easily left when his contract expired most recently, but he decided to resign. He's going to be there for another 4 or 5 years. But honestly, at the end of the day, like the idea that this company, this goes with AEW and WWE, or really any company in general. This company gave you everything. They gave you all this money. They gave you all these opportunities. You should be loyal to them. Bro, these companies are not loyal to you. No wrestling company is loyal to you. At the end of the day, it's just a job. I don't really understand why people have this undying loyalty to whatever the fucking letters are in front of that promotion, whether it be WWE or AEW. Like they think to themselves, oh, Jon Moxley's my favorite wrestler. Mariah May's there's been so much vitriol towards Mariah May for going to WWE. Who cares? That was ultimately her dream. There's people that want to leave WWE to go to AEW. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, if they know they'll be happier and probably make more money in that other promotion, I don't really see what the big deal of it is, especially if it makes sense. Like the Mariah May one, I'm still slightly skeptical on, depending on her long-term outlook. I feel like she'll be fine. Obviously, she's a star. But like there was so much hate towards Mariah May for going to WWE. For what reason? It was her dream. She made that clear in those pictures that you were talking about, like her post on Twitter fucking 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is hardly a shock. She was going to be there at some point. It just happened a lot sooner than I thought it would. So I think the whole loyalty thing is dumb because, I mean, R-Truth, I mean, he was loyal to that company for 20 years. They just said, hey, see ya, pal. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. They don't give a fuck about you. TKO specifically doesn't care. But why should I be loyal to a WWE or an AEW if they're not going to be loyal to me? That just doesn't make sense to me personally.
I mean, define loyalty, I guess, at the end of the day. Like, yes, R-Truth, they're just like, yeah, see you later, bud. But like, he hasn't done shit in the last probably 10 years. He's been stealing a paycheck realistically. So
hey.
I mean, it is one of those things like, yeah, there is loyalty, but at the end of the day, there is like, you got to make business decisions at the end of the day. So,
yeah.
I mean,
and we'll get
like
into
I said, at the end of the day, it's a business, and then pretty much everyone's expendable.
Yeah, I don't know, just the idea that, Tony Khan put all this effort into building up Mariah May. He made her a star. Why wouldn't you stay? Like he made you a star. No, she has to do what's not best for AEW or do what's best in the interest of Tony Khan. She has to do what's best in the interest of herself, of Mariah May. Tony Khan, not Vince, he's gone, thankfully, but Triple H, TKO, they're going to do, whether we agree with it or not, are going to do what they feel is in the best interest of them because they own the company. That's what any company, corporate owner will do. I'm not defending people like that. I'm just saying that's what just human nature is, and I can understand it to a certain degree.
It's a business, people. It's a business at the end of the day. You got to make money, and it's that the thing is, like, I feel like now maybe more people are realizing, like, at the end of the day, it is a business. Like, yes, it is a wrestling company, but then they are a business. They are trying to make money, and at the end of the day, they'll do anything to protect that.
Yeah, exactly. It goes both ways. Not only for the companies themselves, but also the wrestlers, in my opinion, too. I'll go back to their chats in a moment, but I do want to mention this one last one before I go to the departures. Johnny mentioned, I think this brings up a good question. Tony should sign people to longer deals, especially if they are in their 20s. So this is a great comment / question, because how many times have I sat here, or we've sat here, Mr. Marceau, saying, why the fuck would this person in AEW, like Malachi Black, or this guy, that guy, or even in WWE, why would they sign a 5-year deal? Unless you're like, you know that you're going to be there long term, I think 5-year deals are just dumb, because there's no assurance, one, that they won't fire you, specifically in WWE before that. It really just benefits the company and not yourself. And two, like, I feel like a 3-year deal makes more sense. But obviously, in the case of you have a lot of money in front of you, a lot of these wrestlers, I'm sure, don't work with lawyers or agents. They're just going to go with the first deal that's made. I can understand that, especially if you're newer. But if you're more established, why would you sign like a 5-year deal? I think people were shitting on Tony Khan. Oh, he should have signed her for 3 years or 4 years. Mariah May, if I was her, why the fuck would I want to sign a 4-year deal? I mean, that would take her into her late 20s. At this point, it was perfect. It benefited her. Doesn't really benefit AEW. What do you think the ideal contract length is? And does it kind of depend on the person and situation?
I think it depends. It's definitely a tougher situation. I think if you're a made person, I would say if you're made, you'd take the longer deal just because you're already made at that point. Like, if it's 5 years, whatever, you're getting paid 5. Like, you have security there.
Makes sense. The swerve
you're already a made person, so regardless of the booking. The problem is, it's like tougher with the younger people because, like you're saying, like, you're coming up, like, you see the money. So it's like, depending on your situation, like, you might see the money like, hey, even though it's 5 years, I'll be making a ton of money.
Yeah.
But, like, realistically, I would say like 2 to 3 years is probably like the sweet spot, because if you're getting pushed and you have a good year or two in there, it's like, okay, now I'm up for contract again. I can like pivot if I want, or like look at other options. Now, if it's like 3 or 4 years, you have a good couple of 1 or 2 years, and then it's like if your booking goes down the tubes or you get hurt or something like that, then it's like, then you're kind of stuck at that point. So, but then, like you said, you're younger, so you're probably looking more at the money. You're not really thinking of the bigger picture. I think 2 to 3 years, I would say, for like someone that's like in the middle would probably be the sweet spot, I think. Because after a year or two, you would know where your booking is, most likely.
Exactly, I agree. Honestly, that includes the established people, but I can agree with that as well. After 2-3 years, the company as well, they'll know, okay, this is someone that we want to resign, or maybe they're not going to want to go anywhere. We can offer them a longer deal. I think the 5-year deal is just ridiculous, because they might be pushed or utilized well for that first year or two, and then they're sitting on the bench for the next 3 years because you're not happy, or they're not happy. They're not getting what they feel is worth the investment, and you're just sitting there like, Ricky Starks is just like, he was pushed pretty well for the first few years. That last year or two, he was doing fucking nothing. The guy was barely on the show, but they're stuck there because they can't leave. And Tony Khan,
tough. No, it's tough. It definitely is tough. I mean, I think, like you said, I think that's when they've been these recent releases. They look at it and like, do we really need this person?
Yeah.
No. Okay, move on.
And in WWE's case, again, it benefits WWE. When you sign those 5-year deals, AEW will be a little bit different. They won't just fire people. They'll let until their contracts expire, which is nice because at least they're getting paid until the end. But in a lot of cases in WWE, they'll just fucking release you. They do not give a shit. They'll sign you for a 3-year deal. You'll just resign a couple months ago, and then they'll let you go. I'm like, okay, then what was even the point of resigning you a couple months ago? It's like the illusion that you have job security in that company when you really don't. But I will say this. In relation to the releases from this past week, but they were not releases, to be fair. They're departures. They still let you go regardless. I mean, you could call it whatever the fuck you want. They let these people go. At least they let their contracts expire, and they didn't just release them out of nowhere. That being R-Truth, Carlito, and Valhalla, a.k.a. Sarah Logan. The latter two had to have known there was a pretty big chance they were not getting renewed. I mean, that cannot be a surprise. Carlito's on the show, but it's not like he's been booked like a big star. The R-Truth one, I could see him being shocked. He's been there for 17 years consistently. Years before that is K-Quick. That one came as a bit of a shock. But let's address the other two first, because the R-Truth one is a bit of a bigger conversation. Carlito and Valhalla, were you surprised to see their names not renewed by WWE when it was revealed this past week?
No. I mean, good for Carlito to come back and make some money for a few years, but I mean, I think you could put anyone there playing video games in a 5-minute VTR. So, I mean, he's kind of been phased out of he's in the Judgment Day, but I mean, no one really cares about him. He really hasn't done anything. He has a few like little interference spots, but besides that, doesn't surprise me. Valhalla, don't think she's really been with the Viking Raiders since they've came back. So, gotta make a budget. I mean, Mariah May cheap. Sorry, Valhalla. At least your husband's still employed for now.
Yeah.
But
now.
For now, I mean, Q3's creeping up, but good luck on your future endeavors.
Yeah, no, I think the Carlito one I was more bummed by because I like Carlito. I think he's played his role well in the Judgment Day. I was bummed by. I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here with a pitchfork and be like WWE.
You shouldn't be with a pitchfork with R-Truth either.
That one was a little bit different, and I'll explain the reasons why in a moment. But with Carlito and Valhalla, the Valhalla one, she was not on the show because she had a second child, I believe, in the last year, and they also were not going to bring her back to do. What exactly? Be another manager for the Viking Raiders? They're not the Viking Raiders anymore. They're the War Raiders. So she'd have to go back to being Sarah Logan with them. They don't need a manager at this point. With the Viking Raiders, I like the idea of an act with the three of them. But they're not the Viking Raiders anymore. And on her own in the ring, don't know her personally. She was not all that great, especially when she came back. She didn't have a whole lot of great matches. She had a couple matches with Maxine Dupree that were pretty honestly garbage. So that one doesn't surprise me at all. You're calling up Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie. Again, these women need some sort of bandwidth on the main roster. You're not going to keep everyone and then not release anyone. Because that was the other argument for many years. Oh, yeah, they're just signing all these people and not letting anyone go. Well, guess what? They're letting people go now to kind of make way for other people. That's just what it is. The R-Truth release was a little bit different. Significantly different. Because he's been there for 17 years. He's a beloved figure on the show, one of the biggest fan favorites of anyone there. He is 53 years old. He's not going to win a world championship. That's why TKO let him go. Not because he's not going to win a world championship, but they saw, okay, he's probably making more money than we're willing to pay him. He's older, a lot older than pretty much, he's probably the oldest person on the active roster, I would have to imagine. We've done all that we can with him. We did the John Cena storyline. It was short-lived, but we did it. We got it out of the way. He's not involved in a major storyline on the show. Comes down to age, cash, and creative. I think they saw all three of those things weren't to their likings. They're like, okay, we're not going to renew him. Despite the fact he's perfect as a comedy character. I think WWE needs more of that sort of stuff. Not a lot of it, but like he's a comedy character that works, and he's even sold merchandise as well. So, I don't know. He also took anything he was involved in and made it very good. But play devil's advocate for me, Mr. Marceau. What are your thoughts on the R-Truth departure from WWE?
I mean, I take the three things you just say: age, cost, creative. He's 53 years old. They probably spent a lot of money on him, and he's got zero creative. I mean, he's 53 years old.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, if you want me to be nice, maybe they should have offered him like an agent role or like be a trainer at the PC.
I agree.
Maybe said no, maybe that wasn't even an option. But like as an active competitor at this point, I've seen enough. I mean, yeah, they did the Cena thing, but before that, couldn't even tell you what he was doing for the last 5 years. Couldn't even tell you. I know he would like pretend to be in like he'd be in the Money in the Bank and he forgot to climb the ladder, or he's scared of ladders or some stupidness. Can't tell you what happened. He was there. He'd pretend like, I don't know. He'd like, dumbness. I've seen enough. I was ready. I mean, don't want to see him out of a job, but he is 53 years old.
But he's not like, he's not at a point where he can't, like, he's not going to go in there and have an instant classic. He's 50.
No, I mean, it's not like he's a bad wrestler, but he's like Natalia for me at this point. Like, been there, done that. Time to move on. Q3's coming, Natalia.
Nothing against Natalia, but who they also re-signed last year, only to do nothing with, by the way. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm not sitting here saying she should be women's champion, but, like, why even bother re-signing her? She should have, I don't know. If they're going to re-sign R-Truth.
But that's more of a her thing. If she really wants to do something, like, they're not telling her, hey, re-sign, you're going to win the women's championship. It's just not the case.
Yeah, no, she probably obviously wants to stick around, but I'm just saying on TKO's end, that was a bit of a surprising move, if only because, I don't know, they don't have any plans for her. She's older. She's been around forever. I mean, it's the same thing as R-Truth. I just feel like R-Truth, this has turned into a hating Natalia session, but I just feel like R-Truth has way more value at this point because he's just way more popular, and I feel like you can find a role for a guy like that. Again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, and there was a rumor that they could have offered him less money, but he declined. We don't know that. I've heard that's not true, but that is a possibility. We don't know. And like you said, is it possible that they wanted to give him an agent role or make him a producer, and he said no? Yeah, that's definitely possible. And if so, that's his, prerogative. That's his choice to decline that. But I just feel like to let go of R-Truth, I feel like more than anything, it sends the message, this company, this regime has no fucking loyalty at all. I mean, Vince McMahon Terrible person. I'm not sitting here saying we need Vince McMahon back. We do not. I mean, I cannot emphasize that enough. A lot of people are being like, oh, yeah, Vince McMahon's WWE was better. Okay, let's not go that far. The creative would speak otherwise. But that being said, I feel like with a guy like R-Truth, for as many cuts and rounds of releases that Vince McMahon had, Truth was never on that list. And it's not as if he was involved in something more meaningful under Vince. He's actually been booked better under Triple H than he was in the last 5-6 years of Triple H, or rather Vince being in creative control. But they don't give a fuck. They see that you're older, that you've been there forever. They got rid of you. They don't care. I mean, is that not any more clear now than it was before?
Like, I guess my point is, like, if his contract was up in 6 months and they didn't renew his contract,
yep,
what would the narrative be?
In 6 months from now?
Yep.
He was on TV recently. If he wasn't on TV, if they had nothing for him, I feel like the narrative, there would still be.
My point is, you're saying, like, my point is, you're like, there's no loyalty. But if it came up in 6 months and they're like, hey, thanks for everything, like, we look at it, we're not going to, like, is it there's no loyalty because they just released them? Or, like, if his contract was up in 6 months and they're like, we're not going to renew it, like, there's no loyalty. Like, they can't keep him forever. So it's like, I don't, like, he's been around for 17 years. Like, they're not doing anything with him.
Yeah.
So why would you keep him?
Well, I don't know. You say they're not doing anything with him, but he wasn't a featured match at Saturday Night's Main Event a week ago. 2 weeks ago at this point, but a week before he got cut. So he was on TV pretty consistently. And moreover than that, it's not even just the TV stuff. The outcry from performers that are upset that he got let go because he had, he was very well liked backstage. I just don't know if it's worth the risk to get rid of R-Truth, even if you kept him on in a backstage capacity. I feel like, or assigned him to a Legends deal or something like that. Because you can't tell me Kane is still under a fucking active contract with the company, or at least as an active performer. He's definitely under contract as a legend at this point, or an alumni, or an ambassador, whatever. Why can't you do the same thing with R-Truth? That's what I'm asking, just because I feel like it takes such a hit backstage for morale-wise. I could see people being like, listen, this company won't give a fuck about me the same way they don't give a fuck about R-Truth. I'm going to leave when my contract expires. I feel like this could have longer effects than just R-Truth comedy character gets canned.
I guess we'll wait and see.
I guess we'll wait and see. Noel mentioned any last predictions for Money in the Bank. We'll get to that momentarily. Nathaniel asked, what if Roman Reigns gets released? Oh, he could. Maybe they won't re-sign the Tribal Chief. Possible.
It's possible.
And under TKO, no loyalty. So we'll see. How old is R-Truth? Mr. Marceau mentioned before, 53 years old. Do you think WWE should pivot and re-sign Truth?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Bring him back, but not, well, I mean,
first this is the point I'm talking about. Like, Fernando's like, oh, he's one of the top merch sellers. Like, what? Like, no one gave two shits about R-Truth until they got released. Now everyone's like, oh my God, I love R-Truth.
No, I don't think so. He's definitely much more valuable than a lot of the people they've let go. I mean, he's a beloved character on the show. Everyone loves R-Truth. You can find a role for a guy like that.
Even if we're going to get the same outcry when Otis and fucking Tozawa and Dupree get fired too, because everyone loved Alpha Academy. Like,
well, Otis maybe. The other one's
at the end of the day, people are going to complain. Just like the same people are bitching about Karrion Kross. But if he won the title tomorrow, everyone would be like, oh my God, he's boring. He's overpushed. No one likes him. His moveset sucks. His looks terrible. Blah, 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 blah. But if they let him go, people will be fucking bawling their eyes out because allegedly they love Karrion Kross now and that he should have been pushed and WWE fumbled him and da-da-da-da. You can't win either way.
Yeah, well, at least with R-Truth, though, they should not be putting him in consistent main events, to be fair.
They weren't. They put him in one main event, like tell one story and then move on.
Yeah, but I feel like
everyone gravitates at it. It's like, oh, they let him go. He was in this big thing. Like, it was just a one throwaway thing, and it's over with. What are they going to do with him now? Nothing. He wasn't going to do anything. Now, there was nothing for him to do after he lost to Cena, so they let him go.
On the show, I agree. Creatively, I agree. I'm not saying if I were to re-sign R-Truth, I would have the conversation, okay, we'll bring you back. We don't think that you're on the same level pay-wise as a lot of our top mid-carders, because that's just not the level that we see you at. We're going to pay you less. I mean, that would still get a lot of negative reaction, but I will level with you and tell you, if I was in charge, I would probably offer him a smaller deal because he's not a main event guy. So why the fuck would you pay him $1 million? We don't know what he was making, But if he's
exactly,
making
like I said, I don't know. I feel like people are acting like he's like a weekly character. I'm trying to think of someone I can even think of the top of my head and be like, oh, I can't think of anyone on the top of my head, but like they're acting like someone that's like in the mid card that's on TV every week, and they're like, "Up, just see you later."
But he's not even in the mid card. That's the thing. He's lower than that.
Exactly. So I don't like. I understand like he's been with the company for a long time, but the outcry is a little much to me.
I feel like it's justified because he is a beloved character on the show. And again, you ask me whatever that, okay, what do you do with him going forward? I don't have an answer with you. I don't have an answer for you. There's no obvious storyline there. I'm just saying that I would have kept him. I would have bent over backwards to keep Truth under a WWE contract. Maybe they did. We don't know. I don't think they did. That's the thing. I think his contract was coming up and they were just like, see ya, pal. Like, they're not going to resign you. I would have done whatever was needed to do to make sure that he was still under a deal, whether it be as an ambassador, legend, fucking dude. Take Ava off NXT, give him the NXT GM mode or GM role. But we know that he's not related to The Rock, so that's not going to happen. But I don't know. I would keep R-Truth in some capacity. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, it's the difference between me and you.
I agree. Wrestling fan had a question. Well, yeah, Johnny, we have not seen Keith Lee since 2023. I don't know if he'll ever be back at this point. Wrestling fan 13 said, good morning, Graham and RJ. First of all, thank you for the comment. We appreciate it. He said, Graham, have you heard the prediction from Jonathan Coachman that within the next 18 months, Triple H will be phased out as head of creative? What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Marceau? Do you think that's true?
How would Coach know? Is he a known truth teller? I don't even know.
He also said this past week that Vince McMahon was interested in buying back WWE. So
okay.
am I.
Yeah.
I'm interested too.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going to fucking buy it.
I wouldn't. I mean, I would take everything Coach says with a grain of salt. I mean, I feel like he's been all over the place. I mean, it's possible. I mean,
yeah, it's possible.
I mean, most bookers don't make it that long. I mean, obviously besides Vince, but I mean, I wouldn't. I would just, like I said, take it with a grain of salt.
It is definitely possible. I'm not sure who they would replace Triple H with someone else within TKO, The Rock, God forbid. I'm not sure. But that's an interesting question. I don't believe what Coachman says a lot of the time. It sounds like he's just getting fake reports. Like we shit on Meltzer because he gets fake information or false information. What's the difference between Meltzer and Coach? You think Coach is getting actual information and Meltzer's not? I mean, come on. They're probably in the same boat. He also said, a report from Lucha Libre Online, Hugo Savinovich said that apparently TKO is restructuring his contract. I mean, they're probably restructuring a lot of contracts. Are they letting him go? Because if they did, that sucks because he's been there again for so long, no loyalty there. But at the same time, though, if they're just restructuring his contract, I mean, that makes sense.
You know what? I think they should just hire any wrestler. You know what? You wrestle for the Mud Show, just hire everyone. Yeah. Who gives a shit at this point? You show loyalty if you just hire everyone, so might as well. Help everyone's contract $100,000. Everyone gets on the show. You know what? Everyone that's on SmackDown's roster, they should be on the. You know what? This 3-hour SmackDown coming up, they should put everyone on the show, and you can't complain that everyone's on it just because they're so loyal and everyone should be on the show.
3-hour SmackDowns. What are your thoughts on that? Speaking of which,
I think there should be 5-hour SmackDowns. I want everyone on the roster to be on the show. I want everyone to wrestle every week because it's fair. I want everyone to be on the show. I want everyone to get an entrance. I want everyone to get their finisher in. I just want everyone to get everything.
Oh God! Hey, you know what? You're not wrong. I want to see that too.
This is what I'm talking about. Like they're loyal. Hey, you know what? BFAB's so loyal. I want her to be in the SmackDown main event every week.
No, not everyone. I'm not sitting here saying they should have re-signed Valhalla or even made that much of an outcry about Carlito.
You know what? Then why aren't you crying more for Natalia? She's been with the company for probably almost 20 years. You should be on the show every week. Come on,
no. Natalia doesn't have the same value on TV, but she has value to the company, maybe in a backstage role. I'm saying loyalty, but you could show. I'm not saying okay, you've been loyal, so we're going to give you a world championship. I'm saying that they could probably have, her in a backstage role. RJ's very loyal to WWE.
I'm very loyal. Like I said, I think everyone should get paid more.
Stand up for WWE. She also said, justice for R-Truth. Wrestling fans said, sorry, I meant TKO is restructuring Roman Reigns' contract. Apparently for the limited dates he works, they don't think it's worth paying him $15. Is he really getting paid $15 million a year? Is that the report? I mean, the Lucha Libre Online is a credible source, but is Roman Reigns getting paid fucking $15 million a year? I don't think so. Would they restructure? I mean they're not going to
like Matt. What are these like big dirt sheet? I haven't seen anything like that. Like I said, I mean, even if he's getting paid $50 million, I guarantee it's worth it. They make just billions of dollars.
Yeah, they're not going to pay Roman Reigns a lot less than what he's already making. They might restructure his contract. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't see him going from $15 million to $5 million. They're not letting go of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is staying. They'll pay him whatever he wants.
I don't see that either.
R-Truth is not a priority to them, but Roman Reigns is. So take that for what it's worth. Last thing here from a little bit earlier on, Nathaniel said, do you guys want to see Liv and Dom versus Roxanne and Finn at SummerSlam? I think that makes sense. Either Dom and Finn one-on-one, but I feel like the tag team match also makes sense at some point.
Yeah, book it, pal.
Book it, pal. I like the idea of that. Worlds Collide. We'll go through predictions here for Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank coming up this weekend, Mr. Marceau. Start with Worlds Collide here. Some changes to the card. Legado del Fantasma taking on the trio of El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm not sure. Mouthful. Pagano and Psycho Clown. Thoughts on that match? I assume Legado's probably losing. They're teasing tension between Santos and Angel, so I figure they would probably lose. So I'll go with the AAA crew.
I'll go with the AAA crew as well.
Feel like that makes sense. Stephanie Vaquer, the new addition to the Raw roster, newest addition to the Raw roster, and Lola Vice taking on Cheek Tormenta. I don't know how you pronounce her name. And Dallas, again, I don't know how you pronounce her name either. Stephanie just got called up. I don't know if you have her lose here. I think she's going to have to win for her team.
I'm gonna go with Stephanie as well. I just like you pronouncing these
terrible with the names. Spanish
names. I'm assuming it's Dalise, but I mean
Dalise.
I don't know. You said Dallas, like the city. I mean, I think Stephanie's gonna win, but I hope the other gals are good. I don't know anything about them. But
yeah, I don't know much about them either. I should probably leave it up to you as far as pronouncing names. I do a fucking terrible job of it. Thoughts on Slim Jim tables? Pseudo asked. I think it means more table spots from now on. Did they have Slim Jim sponsorships on the tables? Is that what the deal is? I think it was in the ring on Raw this week.
Yeah, they announced it's going to be on the tables, though.
The crowds are going to be happy because they're going to be doing more table spots. They chant, we want tables for every fucking match, but wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, that's loyalty right there.
They're loyal to the tables. AJ asked, Mr. Marceau, what's your most memorable R-Truth match ever? I know we stated some awesome... we had said here on the show a couple days ago. Awesome Truth versus Rock and Cena. Any memorable R-Truth matches for you, RJ?
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Him versus Cena at Capital Punishment. I don't know. That's the only one I can think of.
Well, I will say this. You're not being a hater because I said the exact same thing the other day. That match and the MSG tag match at Survivor Series 2011 with him and Miz versus Rock and Cena. I love Truth, but you can't sit here and tell me he's had 5 great matches in the 17 years he's been with the company. A lot of great moments. But great matches, far and few between. He just wasn't known for being a great, they didn't have him in that role as an amazing worker at this point in his run. That's about it. So I will say, Mr. Marceau is not being a hater when he says that, because I gave the exact same answer the other day.
Perfect.
Stephanie and Lola are winning. Hex, have Stephanie and Lola go after the women's tag titles. No one cares about the women's tag titles. Well, that's the exact reason as to why they shouldn't have them go after the tag titles. Stephanie, ceiling is here. Why go after the tag titles that are down here? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I agree. Wrestling Fan said, when the AAA acquisition is finalized later this year, do you think we'll get a weekly show where it ends up on Tubi, or where will it end up on Tubi or YouTube, blah, blah, blah? I don't think so. I don't think they keep AAA as like a regular show. They'll probably continue running separate events. I don't see AAA getting its own show on, Tubi or Peacock or whatever. Do you see that happening or no?
No.
Yeah, I don't really see. Maybe there's value in it, but I don't know how many people in WWE's audience that would watch it. We already have Evolve. I don't know if we need another extra show. Do you guys want to see R-Truth in AEW? Nathaniel asked. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. TNA, AEW, local mud show. Maybe they'll be more loyal to him.
He'll do well with whatever he does next, but I could see him being signed to a 5-year deal in AEW to do what? I mean, he's not wrestling on Rampage. Rampage ain't a thing anymore. AEW is all about the in-ring work. You talk about great matches. R-Truth ain't going in there at this point having great matches, so I'm not really sure. He can bring the comedic relief, but AEW already has that as well with other people.
I think he'll be in the frat house next.
Oh, God, don't say that. The frat house is terrible. I'm disappointed you even know what that is. I'd rather you didn't, because that shit sucks. Should little Jimmy get a contract extension? No, I think he's still holding out for more money. I think he wanted more money, so I don't know if they're going to resign him either. He talks a big game. I think it's cool how Truth won the NWA World title by defeating Shamrock with a diamond cutter. I did not. Did he beat Ken Shamrock for the NWA title? I know he was an NWA champion. I didn't know he beat Ken Shamrock, though. Anyway, back to Worlds Collide. Lince Dorado in the LWO, which is Dragon Lee and Cruz del Toro. Yes, Lince Dorado, formerly of the Lucha House Party, is in this match because Joaquin Wilde got hurt this past week. So he's back. He's doing the Lucha. He's actually in the company as a producer in NXT, so that's why he's in this match. Taking on Octagon Jr., Mr. Iguana, interesting name, and wait for it, Aerostar. Remember Aerostar from Lucha Underground? Remember the name?
The name sounds familiar. I vaguely remember him.
He wasn't a big star in Lucha, but he was in Lucha Underground. So I'm going to go with the WWE crew on this one. I think Lince, LWO take it. Or do you think the AEW crew takes the win here? AAA.
I think the WWE guys win.
Okay, I think so as well. NXT North American Championship, fatal four-way match. This match should be awesome. I don't see a title change, but the match itself should be great. Ray Phoenix, Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, and current champ, Ethan Page. Who goes over?
This should be the gymnastics match of the night, but I think Ethan Page wins.
I agree. I think he pins Laredo Kid. And then finally, El Hijo del Vikingo defending his newly won AAA Mega Championship, having just beaten Alberto El Patron over the weekend. They already spoiled, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show last week. They spoiled the title change. Last week on Raw, they were already promoting this match for Worlds Collide for the fucking Mega Championship that Vikingo had not won until this past Saturday. So they gave away the finish of the match because they knew WWE fans wouldn't give a shit. And Patron, who gives a shit about him anyway at this point? At least no one in the WWE crew or on the WWE side. But anyway, it's Vikingo, Gable. Do we have a new AAA champion here, Mr. Marceau, or does Vikingo retain?
I think Vikingo retains. I mean, I do think it's funny, though, they were promoting before they even took the belt off Del Rio. But, yeah, I mean, I think you keep the belt on Vikingo. I don't think you need Chad Gable as AAA champion.
No, I don't think so either. And if it was El Grande Americano, then maybe. But he's actually going to be in Money in the Bank. He qualified this past week, beating birthday boy AJ Styles and CM Punk in the same match. So big win for him. I'll get to that in a second. Do we see any crazy spots in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match? No L asked. No Laura asked. There usually are crazy spots. I'm not sure what it would be, but typically there's a couple crazy spots per Money in the Bank ladder match, so I wouldn't be shocked. Wrestling fan said, I thought last night's AEW Fyter Fest Dynamite and Collision Special was the best Dynamite AEW produced this year. I have not seen Collision yet. I watched Dynamite, but I find it hard to believe that it would be better than that show they did. Oh, God, what was it? It was right before WrestleMania. They did a show in Boston, actually, right by the Red Sox, and it was a great fucking show. I don't know if it was Beach Break or whatever it was, but I think that show was probably better.
I saw other reports that the show was terrible, but I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I watched the first half of it. It was good, but it wasn't great. It was fine. I didn't watch Collision. I can't sit there and watch 4 hours of wrestling. Aside from pay-per-views and stuff, 4-hour television show. You talk about 3-hour SmackDowns, make it 4 hours, right? Loyalty. Got to put everyone on the show. This makes the most sense. Money in the Bank coming up this Saturday, Mr. Marceau. Only 4 matches on the card. Do you see them adding more matches before Saturday?
I hope not.
You hope not. I think a 5th match would be nice.
Not needed.
Not needed? I mean, there's matches they could put on the card. I feel like 4 matches is too little. I mean, if you have like Rumbles, then I get it. But for a Money in the Bank show, the ladder matches probably aren't going more than 20, 25 minutes. Unless the show is shorter. But if the show is filled with commercials and recap bullshit and it still ends up being 3.5 hours, I don't know if that's necessary.
It doesn't bother me.
Okay. Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch, last chance match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. If Becky loses, can no longer challenge for the championship while Lyra is still champion. I said it was a slam dunk last time that Becky was winning. We both did. And then she lost. Does Becky finally take the title here?
Belaya's going over. I mean, she's no chance she's losing this one. I think it's playing in the story. Lyra's very cocky, confident she's going to win. Belaya wins, most likely probably cheating, and then Lyra has to raise her hand after acknowledge that Becky's the better person. Kind of feeds into it a little bit better, but I got Belaya winning here.
Could you see a scenario where Bayley comes back and costs Becky or attacks her afterward because we haven't seen her since WrestleMania?
It's possible, yeah. I mean, it's possible, but I'm leaning more to Belaya winning here.
Okay. Becky Belaya, that doesn't work for me, sister? Women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
What are you picking, buddy? You can't just. Who do you think's gonna win?
I'm not gonna give my prediction. I'm just kidding. I'm going Lyra Valkyria losing this match. Becky Belair, new Women's Intercontinental Champion. That's what I say.
I like it.
Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Stephanie Vaquer. What a fucking lineup. Probably the most stacked women's Money in the Bank ladder match they have ever done. This is insane, and honestly, you can go wrong, actually. Rhea Ripley should not win Money in the Bank. I could see her winning to set up a rematch with Io, but they don't need that. They don't need a rematch with Io via the briefcase. They can do that anyway, which, listen, we know Rhea's getting the belt back, but it doesn't need to be by her winning Money in the Bank. I feel like that would be stupid. Everyone else, though, I'd be happy with. Alexa Bliss, doesn't really need it, but everyone else, I'd be stoked with. Who do you think walks out, Mr. Marceau? I'm not giving my prediction first. You're first. Who do you think is next in winning women's Money in the Bank?
I knew this. This is literally this might be one of the hardest matches to predict. I think, like you said, besides Rhea, I think besides Rhea, I won't even be mad with Alexa Bliss. I don't think she needs it. Rhea, definitely no. But I think the other four women, Perez, Julia, Vaquer, and Naomi, all could win. I knew you were going to make me go first. I hate you for that. I'm leaning more Naomi, Perez, or Julia. I don't know. It's more of a heely thing to win normally.
Yeah.
Perez is kind of already busy, so I'd kind of knock her out from there. Then it kind of comes down to Julia, Naomi.
Yep.
Julia's kind of teasing U.S. title stuff. I'm going Naomi. It's not my favorite decision. I just think it makes the most sense. I'd probably prefer Perez, Julia, or Vaquer winning, but they kind of all seem to have something else kind of in line besides Vaquer. But I'm going to go with Naomi. Don't love my answer, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. I will say I agree and I disagree. I agree that I think Naomi wins. I disagree that it's not my favorite prediction. For me, it is. That is my favorite pick. I really want Naomi to win more than anyone else in the match, and I say that as a fan of Roxanne and Stephanie especially, Julia. I'm a big fan of a lot of these women. I don't think, like the other women that you mentioned that could possibly win it, they have the rest of their careers. They just got called up. They're all in their 20s. I think Stephanie's 30, 32. Julia's 30, I think. They have other opportunities to win it. Naomi does not. Naomi, it's probably done after this. A lot of people in the chat say Naomi. Nathaniel, Fernando, Sudo, Maria, all saying Naomi. We're on the Naomi.
So this is a slam dunk then. I'm just going chalk then.
Naomi, we don't know how much time she has left. She said recently, she might want to start a family at some point soon. She's been around. You talk about loyalty. She's been around. I talk about loyalty. She's been around for 15 years.
You know what? She should just win it. You know what? I should just win with loyalty. She's easily winning.
Well, not solely for that reason. She's been a great heel, and I feel like there's a story to be told there with her and Tiffany, probably even taking the championship. I would belt Naomi, and I would first of all put the briefcase on her. That's what I would do. I think Naomi's.
I could see her being the first person to not successfully cash it in.
Women.
I don't know. I like Naomi, but I don't know. Like WWE Championship doesn't. I feel like for her, I don't know. I don't see her at that main event level, but obviously winning the briefcase would get you there. But I just don't see her. If she does win the belt, I don't see her holding it for too long.
Okay, all right. Well, at least she would get the championship, and she's been champion.
But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Naomi.
Okay, I'm sticking with Naomi as well. Wrestling fan said Naomi. Daniel, what's going on, brother? He said he missed the notification. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us, even though it's late. Right time for Money in the Bank predictions. Wrestling fan 13 said Naomi should win. We already had the interaction between Naomi and Tiffany on SmackDown this past week. Yeah, they plant a lot of seeds. And I also agree with your other comment that the other match, the fifth match in the show, should be a multi-team tag match with the Profits, DIY, Wyatt Six, Motor City, Fraxium. Mr. Marceau probably doesn't give a shit, but I think that match would make sense.
That's just a lot of people.
They're all in the mix right now, so I'd be totally fine with that. Wow, Sudo said Naomi would be the first of the Bloodline family to win Money in the Bank. Yeah, Roman never won it. Jay never won it.
Well, that's not true. Solo's going to win it before she wins it.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. Alexa, or we already talked about women's Money in the Bank. Men's Money in the Bank, I'll save for the end. Tag team match, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena. I think this probably headlines. Third straight Money in the Bank pay-per-view headlined by a tag team match. Okay. I'm going to go Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
Yeah, I think this is, the fact that you just stuttered there, I think this is chalk. Cody Jay wins, sets up Cody and big match John. I think Logan Paul's in it to eat the pinfall, and then we move on.
I could see Cena taking the pinfall, and that's what earns Cody a title shot.
Sure. Whatever. The baby faces win.
All right, I agree. For Saturday night's main event in Atlanta or SummerSlam or both?
Wherever they want. Whenever Cody can win the belt quicker.
Get this, he'll run over with. It's not been great. And then lastly, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, baby. Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Andrade. That's probably your pick, I can imagine. Penta and El Grande Americano. I've seen more stacked lineups for Money in the Bank, but this is still a pretty good lineup for what it is. I mean, they're usually pretty good. I'm going to say of these 6 that Mr. Marceau is going first. So give me your prediction.
I want to go first. I already have my preamble ready. I first want to start off with, I want to apologize to Mike DeGiacomo. He's not going to like this. We discussed this on Sunday. You're not going to like my pick, so just tune out now. Just act like this is redacted. Didn't happen.
Okay.
I'm going with Solo. I think Solo's going to win. I know people don't like it. Graham's on the fall out of his chair. I can see. I know it. I have good vision. I can see it already. Seth's going to get taken out somewhere. He's not winning. Penta's not winning. El Grande Americano not winning. Andrade's not winning. So you got down to 2 people. Solo, LA Knight. I see it already. LA Knight's about to win. They have the shot. It's got the briefcase ready. You see the thumb out of nowhere. Bam. Solo hits him with the spike. Solo wins the Money in the Bank. People don't like it. I'm sorry. It's not my decision. It just is what's going to happen. Solo's going to win the briefcase. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I see it between Solo and LA Knight. I think Solo wins.
Listen, you were right about Mariah May. You've been right about a lot of things. I hope you're not right about this. This would go over like a fart in church.
I'd be going nuts.
You'd be going nuts because you're right or because you want to see it or both?
I think I just want to be more right than anything else. It's not like I really want to see Solo winning it, but like he was in the main event of SummerSlam last year. I mean, they have fumbled him a little bit, but I think they're trying to pump him back up. I mean, a briefcase would work.
Well, AJ said in the chat, and I kind of agree with this. Does he cash in on the United States Championship? Is that where you think they're going with this?
I don't.
He ain't winning the fucking world title, Chief. He's got to cash in.
I honestly don't like. I don't like cashing in. I don't like cashing in for mid-card belts. After Austin Theory did it, no thank you. I think it should be on main titles. I guess you could do it on Jacob. It'd kind of be a waste of the briefcase. There's already a few there, so like you just be throwing the briefcase out the window at that point. So
which is why they should put the briefcase
like you said,
on.
I think. Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea at all. Him cashing on the U.S. title. I think that's dumb, but it could happen.
So then what's the alternate route there? You have him cash in on John Cena or whoever comes after Cena as champion?
No, Cody.
Are you...
Jay, he could cash it in on Jay. He could cash in on Jay.
You could cash in on Jay. I was going to say, are you actually... Do not give them the idea of going back to Cody and Solo. Do we really...
Yeah, he could cash in on Jay. Why couldn't I?
Okay. No, he could. You're right. He could. Do we really need Solo as world champion on Raw?
We don't need it, but it could happen. you prefaced it there. Do we need it? No, we don't. But like, hey, maybe Cena or Cody and Jay win, or they're celebrating. Yeah, Cena comes back in, hits him. I'm ruining wrestling. Solo's music hits. Everyone boos. That's terrible. No one wants that to happen. Solo comes in. Hits him with the spike. 1, 2, 3. We end with Cena and Solo together. And Solo was the last person to beat Cena. He puts him over. You know, I'm the best, but like now we're both champions. Sounds awful, but
that sounds terrible. That sounds.
I mean, I want to ruin wrestling. I mean, that would get a very negative reaction of Solo cashing on Jay with him and Cena to end Money in the Bank.
God, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. If you want to ruin wrestling. Mission accomplished. I think Solo.
If you want to ruin wrestling, put the world heavyweight title on Solo.
I think he'll only win for the sole reason of he's been loyal to the company. Solo's a loyal.
So who do you got? You never even went to your decision.
No, I did not. I'm saving it for the end here. A lot of Yaz in the chat. LA Knight wins. Fernando said Seth win. A lot of Seth.
I can see the tears already. This is why I'm setting it up for the for the spike.
Wrestling Fan says Seth wins. Second pick, LA Knight. Yeah, Pseudo says Solo cashes in on Jacob. Yeah, I still think that could happen. Yeah, from Pseudo. Daniel said if he cashes on a mid-card belt, he better win it unlike Theory did. Yeah, no, I agree. That would be a fucking waste. But that's why I wouldn't put it on Solo. I would put it on... Drum roll, please. Call me delusional. I'm going, yeah, LA Knight, baby. Third time's the charm. Bro, he has to win.
At least we have it dwindled down to the same two people.
Yes. I mean, Seth I could also see. I think Solo is not even in my top. Who else is in this match? I think Americano.
Andrade, El Grande, Americano, and...
Andrade ain't fucking winning.
No, he's not winning. Neither's Gable.
Penta's probably not winning. Solo,
Penta's not winning either.
Gable, I think, has a better shot than Solo.
No, he does.
Yes, he does. Solo?
Dude, it's literally either Solo or LA Knight.
No.
I agree. I think I'd rather LA Knight win, yes. But they're pumping up Solo again, and I feel like I said, the problem with the briefcase realistically is it's a heel thing. Heels win the briefcase.
Okay, well, there's another heel in this match. His name is Seth fucking Rollins.
But he doesn't need to win the briefcase because he already is going after Jay.
Okay.
He doesn't need the briefcase. Like, Solo would technically need it. Like, he's not at that main event level, so he needs the briefcase. Not that I'm saying that it needs, like, I don't want that to happen. But, like, that makes sense.
Almost anything but Solo. Because you're saying if Solo wins, he has to cash in successfully.
Yeah, he's going to cash in on Jay.
Bro, that is fucking terrible.
It is bad, but like I'm sorry, but like it is what it is, people. I'm apologizing already.
I'm gonna go Gable over Solo. In that case, I'll take Americano. Cash is in the Mega Championship.
No, thank you. That sounds even worse. Like, I'm looking the last couple of years, all the people that have won Money in the Bank are all heels. Like, they always are heels because it makes sense because it's a heel thing to do to cash in on someone. Like,
you got to have a baby face win at some point.
2022, Liv Morgan, she was a heel. Theory was a heel. I mean, like, I'm looking back, they're all heels. Like, they're heels going to win, Solo's going to win. Get over it.
Naomi,
and Andrade ain't winning. I mean,
no,
he's not winning. If Gable won just to cash in on El Hijo del Vikingo would be probably the dumbest thing of all time. That'd be dumber than Otis winning it and then just like whatever the hell happened with that.
I'll take that over Solo Sikoa. I like Solo, but I don't think he should win Money in the Bank. But listen, they had Naomi, or if they have Naomi win, she's a heel. Drew won last year. That was a waste. He was a heel. Io Sky won 2 years ago. Heel. Damian Priest. Heel. Tiffany. Heel. Theory, heel. That's like 6 or 7 heels, 5, 6 heels in the last 3 years. We need a baby face.
It's a heel thing. That's why.
You need a baby face at some point. His name is L.A.
Otis.
Knight. That was like, okay, he's funny right now, so let's put the briefcase on him. Vince was out of his mind with that one. If Triple H still has, wait for it, if he still has the pencil, he'll put L.A. Knight over. If The Rock is in charge, if we're going to pivot, then we're going to put Solo over. That's the only way Solo is sniffing.
Get ready. You know, like, Mateo's going to be out there. Jacob, it's going to be shenanigans galore. And like I said, Elliot's about to win. He's got the briefcase. Oh, Spike. I can see it. I'm literally manifesting at this point. I don't want to be right, but like it's just going to happen. I'm sorry, people.
Absolutely not.
I'm Nostradamus at this point. It's going to happen. I mean, it's not a prediction. It's a spoiler, people.
That, honestly, you might not be wrong there. But at the same time, Jacob Fatu had his qualifier cost by Solo and JC Mateo. He should not be out there helping Solo. JC Mateo, I could say. Unless Tama Tonga, the infamous Tonga Loa, show up and help Solo win, that would be absolutely terrible. But you know what? If Solo wins, guess who's going to be here on the show next week, eating this hat once more? Yours truly.
Listen, I want LA Knight to win, but I'm envisioning it. Like I said, I see the camera angle, him fucking shaking the fucking briefcase, and him getting I can see the thumb. I see the taped thumb already. It's coming.
Oh, I hate the Samoan Spike. He ruined the Samoan Spike for me. Yes, featuring the pencil, Daniel. Daniel also said, Seth ain't going to win the briefcase if for no other reason than nothing will ever top his Mania cash-in. Correct, but I'll still take a, second-rate cash-in from Rollins over Solo cashing in on a fucking world championship. That would be terrible. Solo and Jey Uso feuding over the world championship might be worse than 2018 Raw. Maybe. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, but it's just like it's a placeholder. Seth eventually winning the belt.
From who? Solo?
No, Jay will probably win it back. Like,
then what's the fucking point?
Because no, this is what's gonna happen. Solo's gonna win the briefcase. He's gonna win the belt. He's gonna beat Jay. They're gonna he's gonna then Solo's like the top. He's like the big dick. He's gonna think he's the greatest, and it's gonna keep pissing Jacob off. And then eventually Jacob's gonna help Jay beat. So they'll rematch. Jacob will either interfere or something. Jay wins the belt back, and then you go into Jacob and Solo for the U.S. title, and then Jay's over here, and then they do Jay and Seth.
I don't like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We don't have to like it. We have to accept it, right?
I mean, they have to show loyalty to the Anoa'i family, and they've been around for a while. Solo needs to win.
That is absolutely atrocious. Hey, listen, I saw that report from WrestleVotes that Triple H has a disdain for the Money in the Bank concept. That's one way to just flush it right down the fucking toilet.
Well, it's. I understand it because I also just think it's where they have it placed. It's not in a good spot. It's in between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. I know that next year, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be after SummerSlam, which I like better because then you can kind of I think where they have it placed right now, it's not great. Like I said, it is kind of stinks that it is more of a heel-y thing because Braun Strowman cashed in before and lost like a loser. So the only time a babyface would win it, the only you said you have the opportunity and then you're pre-cashing it in. Running out, cashing it on someone that's weaker is just a heel move.
Yeah. I don't know. They have to make some adjustments with the briefcase if they're going to make this thing matter, and I think that's why LA Knight should win, but we might have
who's going to cash in on?
Honestly, realistically, take the title off of Cena and just have Cody and Cena do their thing without the title, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would have him hold on to it for a while, for the foreseeable future. I don't know. I would move LA Knight to Raw. I would have Jay lose it to Rollins, and then maybe Knight takes it off of Rollins. Yeah, that's what I would do.
But you're not seeing Solo?
I'm not seeing so. I can't. Other than loyalty for the Anoa'i family, because they might riot otherwise. I don't know.
Do you see the thumb? Can you just picture it now?
I can see it. I hate that I'm not even only just seeing it, you're manifesting it for me.
I see Mateo on the ladder, he pushes him off, Tama Tonga pushes him off, LA Knight's holding on, he pulls him down, hits him, boom, right at the lever wins.
That's terrible.
My hand hurts from doing the thumb so many times, but yeah.
He fends off Fatu. Oh, he's going to win. He fends off Jason Mateo. Oh, he's going to do it. Then the mask. It's Tanga Loa. Tanga Loa's back. Tanga Loa and Tama Tonga. No, they push over the ladder. But no. LA Knight. He fends them off. He fends off the Tanga Loa and Tama Tonga. He kicks off the ropes. He's back on the ladder. This is crazy. What's that in the shot? The thumb. The thumb of doom.
I can't wait.
Solo takes that LA Knight, new Mr. Money in the Bank. And you're next, World Heavyweight Champion. Maria says the Solo ship has passed. Sorry, AJ. Or sorry, RJ, he said.
I agree. I just see it. I don't even want Solo. If I want my actual who I want to win is LA Knight. But I think Solo is going to win.
I hope The Rock interferes.
I gotta take my fandom out. I gotta think with my head. So I've been burned by Jey Uso so many times. You roll the clips of me saying Jay's gonna win, I look like an idiot. I'm going. My mind says Solo. My heart says LA Knight.
Okay. My heart says LA Knight. My head says Seth Rollins. My ass says Solo Sikoa. Wrestling Fan 13 said, yeah, can't wait for the infamous Tonga Loa to finally pull back up. I agree, Daniel. Might throw some on the grill. Might throw something on the grill that day. Hey, that day is going to be Saturday. Will Roman return Saturday? I could see him costing Seth. I could totally see that. Set up something for SummerSlam. And, I understand as well. Sometimes the Money in the Bank gets in the way of storylines. I agree, Maria. And Wrestling Fan 13 said, I honestly feel like the Money in the Bank concept backs you up into a corner from a booking standpoint. I think it's played out as a gimmick, and I'd replace it with King of the Ring instead. Yeah, I would not do Money in the Bank every year, but the problem is it's such an attraction as a pay-per-view at this point. They're never getting rid of it. As a pay-per-view, they're never getting rid of it, period. They already announced it for New Orleans, so, the pay-per-view ain't going anywhere. They'll get rid of Hell in the Cell and Extreme Rules. Money in the Bank, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, ain't going anywhere. So those are our Money in the Bank predictions for this weekend. I will bring another hat to eat next Thursday here on the show, if and when Solo Sikoa becomes the new Mr. Money in the Bank. I look forward to it. Shout out one more time to the channel members: Alexis, Miss Mod Matthews, Dylan Jackmo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve One, Daniel Malcolm, Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on the Twitter machine. John, I'm so excited by Solo. I'm stuttering over my words here. Real Honesty with John Ritlin on YouTube. That is John Ritlin. Richie, Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube. And finally, Average Grunt, the Average Grunt on X. Find him there. Daniel said Roman off in Hollywood filming scenes with Eddie Murphy. Is he in a movie with Eddie Murphy? Is that what he's filming right now? I missed that. He probably doesn't even know his friend Ronald Truth got canned. LOL. Yeah, Roman is so off the grid, he probably has no idea. Do you think there's a chance we get the same night cash in this Saturday? I don't think so. Drew did it last year. We've had it like on 7 of these shows with the women and with the men. Dean, Kane, Drew, Liv, Alexa, Bailey. That would just be lazy to do it again. So I hope not, but it is possible. I hope so. With Solo?
Cena and Solo.
God, that'd be awful. Mr. Marceau is manifesting it, and I hate it. WrestleRant All Access Pass. More information down below. Be sure to check out new episodes of WrestleRant Radio every single Thursday here on the channel, as well as all the audio versions on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, and all your favorite podcast platforms. We'll be back here on Thursday reviewing Worlds Collide, Money in the Bank, Solo Sikoa as the new Mr. Money in the Bank, and talking a little bit more loyalty here on the show. I appreciate your guys. World champion Solo Sikoa. Appreciate all the loyalty to the Solo fans in the chat, of which there are none aside from Mr. Marceau. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Any parting words, Mr. Marceau, as we wind down here and ride off into the sunset?
I got nothing. I hope everyone's ready for a Solo rank that's coming.
It is coming. I look forward to it as well. Peep that EO Sky shirt one more time, folks. It's a nice shirt from Mr. Marceau. Look at that. He's repping the GOAT there. EO Sky, the women's world champion. Always look forward to seeing what Mr. Marceau wears here on the show. A little EO Sky taunt as we wind down here. Have an awesome one, folks. For Mr. Marceau, I am Graham GSM Matthews. We'll catch you right back here on the show next week. Until then, guys, have an awesome one. Catch your ass down the road. Peace.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.